So guys, today I have my own video explaining basically my opinion. Now a lot of doctors are going to say this is not true. There's other things that are worse than this. And I'm going to point this out there. I'm not a doctor, okay? I've said that all my medical videos for the past almost a week. I said if you think you have one of these, go to the ER and ask a professional, because I'm just a kid who's sitting on his kitchen floor by an elf magnet trying to make a video and make a new type of video that I kind of enjoy making. I kind of like to have the feeling that I'm saving your guys' life in a way, because although a lot of people don't watch my videos, I still think that one time there's going to be someone that needs these videos a lot, and no other person's going to seem to have the info they need, but my videos will. Or, heck, if you wanted the real info, you could just went to Google for better information. But, still, today, we're talking about the 5 top most deadly any health condition, really. And one of them, number 4, is not even a health condition, but it can cause something that is health related. So that's why it's going to be on here. These are the most deadly in my opinion. Now there are a lot more deadlier viruses out here, but we're going to include some of these. And the next up, number 5, is COVID-19. Now COVID-19 itself isn't that serious. It's going to have symptoms like, sometimes it can cause nausea and vomiting, but it's most likely going to be like a loss of taste, just not feeling well. It's like a whole bunch of cold symptoms. So that's why schools make you go home, is so you can get tested for COVID, because COVID has all the symptoms that the flu does, or that the cold does. So it's hard to determine if it's the cold or the flu or COVID. So COVID isn't really serious when it comes to some of the symptoms. Yeah, you can have trouble breathing, which is something you gotta go to the emergency room for, at least a hospital or a doctor. But at the same time, it's not going to be one that you would necessarily die from right away. But it's not the beginning stages of COVID-19. It's the recovery. Because although it may seem like everything is perfect, COVID can cause some serious complications, including blood clot in the lungs. So again, basically whenever you have COVID, you'll never really be the same again. You might seem like you are, but in the long-term way, I don't think you'll ever be the same. COVID does a lot to you that even doctors, I don't want to say I can't say that, but most of us can't see. Now, sometimes some doctors will think they're okay, but that's until the complications come on, which one of them is blood clot in the lungs. Now, blood clot in the lungs there's a little possibility you could survive. That's what I think. Because if you don't get a blood clot checked at all, say you have it in the lungs and in the brain, is even more dangerous. But having a blood clot in the lungs is already very dangerous. It could kill you in just a matter of days. So that's why I think COVID deserves to be on this list here, which is not a good list. It's COVID, because COVID's a serious thing and it's still going on, and it's very, very, very deadly. Whenever there are complications. Now again, complications are things that you could end up getting, but you won't, you most likely won't get, but there's a little possibility you could. And number 4 on here, it might be surprising to you, is cuts. Now, just like COVID, cuts are something you really wouldn't think is something that's bad. But it is. Because if cuts get bacteria in them, it could cause a bacterial infection if bacteria gets into it. And it could cause a whole bunch of bacteria to get into it. It could cause a whole bunch of infections. And one of them is a bacterial infection. A bacterial infection could be meningitis. It could be a whole bunch of things. But it's what happens afterwards. Now, what happens afterwards is sepsis. Now, sepsis is a very, very deadly thing. It is one of the most deadly complications of a bacterial infection. There are many other ways of getting sepsis, which mainly they're only going to be caused by having a bacterial infection that's gone unnoticed or has a complication, which can cause sepsis. And if that doesn't get taken care of, it can cause sepsis shock, which can kill you in a matter of minutes or hours. So that's why for blood clots, it takes at least a few days. But for cuts, it's mainly an automatic death if it's not going to take care of. So they don't get the fast enough treatment, it can kill you. and most likely will. Sorry about that, second. Number 3, anaphylactic shock. We've talked about anaphylactic shock a few times already. And anaphylactic shock is a deadly shock. Now, anaphylactic shock is the world's most deadliest shock in the entire world. It is a severe allergic reaction and is most common in nuts and milk. Now, against this list, you might be thinking, Adam, blood clots are so much more serious than any shock combined. Well, no. It's not more than anaphylactic shock, I can tell you that. Anaphylactic shock is a deadly shock, and it mainly will happen. I wouldn't say every allergic reaction will cause anaphylactic shock. It's severe allergic reactions. So these include swelling in the tongue, swelling in the lips, swelling in the face, swelling by the eyes. Basically anything you do will mainly hurt it. It will mainly hurt your body. Like walking sometimes can even do a lot of, hurt to you. But the biggest thing with anaphylactic shock is you cannot breathe. You're mainly going to have anxiety. You're going to flip out. Anaphylactic shock is a severe allergic reaction. It can only be helped with the medication like an EpiPen. And if you don't have an EpiPen, and it's like if you don't get treatment sooner or later, it can, trouble breathing can cause death. So anaphylactic shock can kill you in a matter of minutes or hours. Because any allergic reaction, you need to go to the ER immediately for, because you don't know it could turn into. And in severe cases, it can even take up to 24 hours or hours after you having that you could possibly be allergic to. So it's like a matter of hours, or hell, even minutes, to be honest. But number 2 on the list is COPD. Now, COPD is something that, hurts basically your lungs. And if you have this, I wouldn't say it can really cause, death. I don't know. Just let me do my video. It could cause death. But it isn't one of those quickening type deaths. But COPD can cause many symptoms that can be a little bit scary for the actual person and for the family. Therefore, I think COPD deserves to be number 2 on the list because of how much frightening you're going to have with this. And all the symptoms that you have with this is just outrageously unbearable. I am making a couple more health videos tonight, but we just have to say COPD is very deadly. It mainly will happen, I wouldn't say in younger people, but in elderly, it's not very common, but it is common.
Does Mom know you made 49 on that test?
I don't know. Number 1 is heart attack. Heart attacks, don't get me started with those. Although I never had them, heart attacks are the most deadliest thing in this entire world, in my opinion. These are my opinions, so these might not even be real. But a lot of people might think coronary, I think it's coronary artery disease or something like that. I don't know. But, coronary artery disease. So, number 1 is heart attack. Heart attacks happen when there's a lack of blood flow to the heart, and eventually heart attacks will kill you. It can kill you instantly. It can kill you in minutes. Some of the symptoms are heart pain. Heart pain's like, oh boy, I don't care if you're elderly or your cat or anything, you gotta go to the ER. Because heart attacks can happen in merely anything human related. Heart attacks are very, very deadly. They can kill you in a couple of minutes. Heart attacks are basically, they're painful because the person that feels them can feel their heart hurting. It's like stabbing pain, and it could kill you in just a few minutes. It's more deadly than COVID, cuts, anaphylactic shock, and COPD because those take at least a few hours. Heart attack is like, ow, and you're mainly dead in 5 seconds. So, let's go. See you guys.
Why?